In long-haul trucking, the most important square footage is often not under the hood, but behind the seats. That space used to be treated as a necessity, a bunk, a storage corner, a compromise. Over time, it became something far more ambitious. Builders, custom shops, and owner-operators began rethinking the sleeper cab as a place where recovery, privacy, and day-to-day livability mattered just as much as horsepower or drivetrain durability. That shift changed the character of the road tractor itself. A machine once judged mainly by pulling ability started being measured by how well it could support life between dispatches. The trucks in this lineup represent the far end of that evolution. Oversized sleepers, deeply customized interiors, and layouts that blur the line between commercial transport and mobile residence. Some come from classic American platforms. Others reflect modern aerodynamic thinking or high-end European execution. All of them prove the same point. In the world of premium heavy trucks, comfort is no longer an accessory. It can become the entire identity of the vehicle. Vehicle number 1, Scania Haida Logistic. This Scania stands out not because it simply has more cabin volume than usual, but because it treats comfort as part of brand identity. Haida Logistics truck looks less like a standard working unit and more like a purpose-built exhibition piece, the kind of machine meant to represent a company before it even turns a wheel. The underlying format appears to come from Scania's upper-tier European V8 family, which places it in serious mechanical territory. Configurations of this type commonly use a 16-liter V8 around 16,000 cubic centimeters, with output that can climb beyond 650 horsepower. An automated transmission usually handles shifting duties, which fits the truck's long-distance mission and helps reduce driver workload over extended runs. But the engineering numbers are only half the story. The extended cab changes the onboard experience completely. Instead of forcing the driver to treat the interior as a temporary stopgap, it creates a setting closer to a private lounge, easier movement, stronger organization, and a much more respectable place to rest during multi-day trips. The effect is amplified by the way such builds typically combine better insulation, more careful interior execution, and ambient lighting that softens the commercial feel of the cab. Visually, the artistic paintwork gives the Scania immediate presence, yet the real success lies in atmosphere. This is a truck that makes the road feel less transactional and more habitable. Vehicle number 2, Kenworth W900B. The W900B belongs to an era when heavy trucks were expected to look tough first and explain themselves later. That is exactly why this custom version is so interesting. It takes a platform associated with 1980s American durability and turns it into something far more accommodating than its period would lead you to expect. Built in the United States, the 1900B already had strong recognition thanks to its shape and reputation. Powertrain options typically included either an inline-6 or, in certain period-correct versions, a V8. Displacement could range from 12 to 19 liters, or roughly 12,000 to 19,000 cubic centimeters, depending on specification. Output varied substantially by setup, but the intended job never changed: move heavy loads reliably and stay composed on the road. Manual transmissions were the usual choice, emphasizing longevity and direct control. What makes this example memorable is not a headline performance number. It is the way the enlarged sleeper transforms the truck's character. The added cabin depth improves rest quality, gives the interior a friendlier feel, and softens the harsh, all-business mood many trucks from that time accepted as normal. In other words, it does more than look imposing, it improves life on board. The exterior goes in the opposite direction. Dolphin-themed graphics and extensive lighting make the truck feel almost stage-built. Yet that theatrical skin hides a thoughtful idea, a bold custom rig that is also genuinely pleasant to occupy. Vehicle number 3, Volvo VNL Super Sleeper. The Volvo VNL takes a different route to luxury than most long-hood customs. It does not rely on nostalgia, chrome spectacle, or oversized visual drama. Instead, it starts with a modern aerodynamic tractor already known for ergonomic design and then magnifies its strengths with a 180-inch sleeper. The result is less hot rod fantasy and more high-end mobile architecture. This 2021 build carries a reported price of about $330,000, which immediately places it in serious premium territory. Mechanically, V&L models of this kind usually use an inline-six between 12.8 and 13.0 liters, or approximately 12,800 to 13,000 cubic centimeters. Power output generally falls between 405 and 455 horsepower. An automated transmission handles the shifts, matching the truck's broader focus on smooth operation and reduced fatigue. Where the truck separates itself is in its interpretation of rest. A 180-inch sleeper does not just enlarge the rear compartment, it changes the logic of the entire vehicle. The driver gains meaningful room to move, stronger privacy, and a rest zone that feels planned rather than improvised. That matters because Volvo's base platform already prioritizes insulation, comfort, and human-centered design. Add a sleeper of this size and the truck becomes less of a simple overnight solution and more of a livable environment for extended time away from home. From outside, the look remains clean and contemporary. Inside, it is all about calm, space, and recovery. Vehicle number 4, Peterbilt 379. Smith's rolling fleet used this Peterbilt 379 to demonstrate what happens when a celebrated American tractor is treated almost like a luxury coach. The underlying truck already carried enormous visual and historical weight, but the sleeper installation pushed it into a completely different category. The living section stretches beyond 200 inches more than 5 meters dedicated primarily to onboard comfort. That measurement alone tells you the truck was not built around the idea of quick overnight stops. It was arranged for extended living with genuine independence from roadside accommodations. Power usually comes from a large inline-six, often between 12 and 15 liters, or around 12,000 to 15,000 cubic centimeters, with output in the 550 to 600 horsepower range. Buyers could pair those engines with either manual or automated manual transmissions, both suitable for long-distance work and steady road manners. Inside is where the project becomes unforgettable. Dark polished wood establishes the tone, giving the cabin a richer and more traditional atmosphere than most custom sleepers attempt. Leather, ambient lighting, and carefully planned separation of spaces make the interior feel closer to a compact motorhome than a freight tractor. A sofa, retractable table, refrigerator, microwave, stainless steel sink, and custom cabinets turn the mid-cabin into a functional living area. At the back, the truck offers a large bed, often queen-size plus serious thermal and acoustic insulation. Some versions even included a bathroom with an enclosed shower. Nicknamed the Rolling Beast within the fleet, this 379 reportedly could exceed $650,000. At that point, it stops being transportation alone. Vehicle number 5, elegant white Peterbilt. This white Peterbilt is proof that sleeper cab luxury does not always need theatrical scale or flamboyant detailing to make its point. Its appeal comes from discipline. Where some big custom trucks overwhelm the eye, this one wins through proportion, cleanliness, and an almost executive tone. Built in the United States, it follows the classic long hood Peterbilt formula that many enthusiasts still consider among the best-looking layouts in trucking. Trucks in this category generally use an inline-six ranging from 12 to 15 liters, or roughly 12,000 to 15,000 cubic centimeters, with output running from above 450 horsepower to beyond 500. Transmission choices are usually manual or automated manual, both intended for long-range use with smoother operation over sustained mileage. The enlarged sleeper is the feature that changes the truck's purpose. From the outside, the taller and extended rear section immediately signals that the design brief went beyond simply adding a bunk. Inside, the extra volume improves movement, storage, and privacy, making the cabin function much more like a personal room than a temporary workspace. That difference reshapes the driver's daily rhythm between runs. The visual presentation strengthens that message. Bright white paint, chrome accents, and restrained surfaces give the truck a premium but relaxed personality. It does not feel severe, it feels composed. In practical terms, that means better recovery, a less stressful off-duty routine, and a much more civilized existence on the road. Vehicle number 6, Freightliner Argosy. The most radical idea in this lineup may belong to the Freightliner Argosy because its comfort advantage begins with packaging rather than decoration. Modified by Andy Babiak, the truck reached about 9.75 meters in total length, making clear that this was never intended to be an ordinary road tractor with extra rear overhang. It was conceived as a serious living machine. Its Detroit diesel inline-6 produced around 500 horsepower, backed by strong torque and an automatic transmission chosen to make long-distance operation easier and less straining. But the major engineering twist sits elsewhere. The truck was converted to a rear engine layout. That decision opened up the forward section of the cab and allowed for a far more integrated interior plan than conventional truck architecture usually permits. The sleeper area feels less like a bunk extension and more like a compact studio apartment. A full kitchen, a complete bathroom, a double bed, ambient lighting, and refined wood trim push the truck into territory few commercial vehicles ever approach. This was a place designed for real habitation, not just overnight survival. Outside, the Argosy carries hand-painted murals, turning it into a moving artwork as much as a transport platform. The project's personal dimension matters too. Andy himself was actively involved and spent more than 5 years working through planning, construction, and final finishing. The end result is not merely custom, it is deeply authored. Vehicle number 7, Kenworth W900L Super Rig. Teen driving trucks have a different assignment than solo rigs. They do not just need endurance and pulling strength, they need to function as a shared living environment. That makes this 2021 Kenworth W900L especially compelling. Nicknamed the Beast, it uses the familiar American long hood formula as the base for a 180-inch ARI sleeper built specifically around sustained occupancy and comfort. Mechanically, W900Ls in this class typically use an inline-6 with displacement ranging from 12.9 to 15.0 liters, or approximately 12,900 to 15,000 cubic centimeters. Output spans from 450 to 605 horsepower. Transmission choices can be manual or automated manual, and both are arranged for highway duty rather than outright speed. Rear air ride suspension is commonly used on long-haul versions, helping reduce impact harshness and making the truck less tiring over extended distances. The sleeper is the real story. At 180 inches, it creates interior dimensions that completely alter expectations for a conventional road tractor. A large bed, improved climate control, more usable storage, and better circulation inside the cabin all matter, especially when two people are sharing the space for long stretches. Instead of functioning as a backup sleeping corner, the rear compartment becomes an organized, living zone. That practical usefulness is why trucks like this earn such a following. Visually, it has the authority of a showpiece, yet its logic is rooted in daily use. In many cases, the sleeper itself can cost as much as an upscale luxury car. Vehicle number 8, Freightliner Cascadia Super Sleeper. The Cascadia shows how modern trucking reached large sleeper territory without abandoning aerodynamic efficiency or contemporary ergonomics. This version pairs Freightliner's well-known highway platform with a 156-inch ARI Legacy 2 sleeper, creating a truck aimed less at spectacle and more at quality of life over long distances. Cascadia models commonly use inline-6 engines ranging from 12.8 to 15.6 liters, or about 12,800 to 15,600 cubic centimeters. Depending on the configuration, output can run from 400 horsepower to more than 500. Automated transmissions are typically part of the package, selected for smoother shifts and for helping the driver conserve energy through long working days. The 156-inch sleeper is what changes the experience. At that scale, the rear cabin moves far beyond basic overnight accommodation. The driver gets more room to move, a stronger sense of privacy, and a much less compressed environment between stops. the value of that added space is not abstract. Better sleep, easier storage management, and the simple ability to breathe without feeling boxed in can reshape a multi-day trip. Visually, the truck remains understated. Clean lines and a disciplined exterior keep it from looking excessive, but the extended rear body makes its priorities obvious. This is comfort interpreted through modern design language. Freightliner did not need old-school flamboyance to reach super sleeper status. It got there through livability. Vehicle 9, Peterbilt 379 ICT. The Peterbilt 379 ICT occupies a special place in sleeper cab lore because it combined two kinds of rarity: unusual design ambition and a tragic ending. Even before its loss, it stood out as a machine that pushed the 379 beyond its normal role as a traditional American long-haul tractor. Trucks of this type generally used inline-six engines between 12 and 15 liters, or about 12,000 to 15,000 cubic centimeters, and many examples comfortably exceeded 500 horsepower. Manual and automated manual gearboxes were both part of the menu, with each configuration tailored to easier, smoother, long-distance work. What made this particular truck different was the ICT sleeper unit attached behind the Peterbilt front section. ICT became known for building very large living spaces, and this example demonstrated why those sleepers made such a strong impression on enthusiasts. The interior offered far more than a bunk and storage locker. It provided real movement, better rest quality, and a daily environment much closer to a compact room than a standard truck cab. Outside, the juxtaposition was striking. Classic Peterbilt chrome and form up front, followed by a rear cabin whose scale changed the truck's whole identity. Then came the event that fixed it in memory. This specific truck was destroyed in a fire. Because of that, the surviving images and footage have become much more valuable, and the truck itself has taken on near mythic status among fans of unconventional sleeper builds. Vehicle number 10. Kenworth W900L 100th Anniversary Limited Edition. Anniversary editions often rely on trim, paint, and badges to do the talking. This 2024 Kenworth W900L chose a far more ambitious route. Its commemorative identity is tied not just to appearance, but to a super extended sleeper measuring more than 4 meters. That decision makes the truck feel less like a celebratory variation and more like a flagship statement about what a premium highway machine can become. The hardware is serious. Power comes from the Cummins X15, a 15-liter inline-six with electronic fuel injection, rated it up to 605 horsepower and producing more than 20 feet 700 newton-meters of torque. The truck uses a 6x4 drivetrain, an 18-speed manual gearbox, and air suspension, the latter helping balance the ride and keep such a long machine composed over distance. Then comes the interior specification, which is where the Centennial concept reaches full expression. Massage chairs, a gourmet kitchen, stainless steel cabinetry, a large double bed, a functional bathroom, and ambient lighting give the sleeper the feel of a tailored suite rather than a work truck extension. Part of the interior work was carried out by artisans associated with the luxury marine sector, which helps explain the unusually high finish quality. The exterior carries the appropriate commemorative paint and chrome treatment, but the more significant achievement is philosophical. This truck turns the sleeper from a practical requirement into the emotional center of the vehicle. It is a Centennial model that celebrates not just heritage, but the modern idea of living well while moving freight. Taken together, these trucks chart a major shift in what a road tractor can be. The old formula engine, bunk, cargo, repeat gave way to something far more sophisticated. Sleeper cabs grew in size, yes, but more importantly, they grew in ambition. They became spaces designed around recovery, privacy, organization, and even taste. That is why the most remarkable builds in this category are not memorable only for length measurements or horsepower figures. They matter because they acknowledge a truth long-haul drivers have always known. Time off inside the truck is still part of life, and the quality of that space changes everything. Some of the rigs here lean into American grandeur. Others reflect modern efficiency or European refinement. A few cross into near residential territory. All of them show that trucking comfort is no longer a side note in the design brief. It can define the entire machine. Which one deserves the top spot for you? Which sleeper feels the most realistic for real life on the road, and which one went furthest in turning a truck into a proper living environment? Drop your choice in the comments. And if you want more deep dive trucking features like this, like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. There's always another extraordinary build worth examining.